So let's ease back in. Come onto your hands and your knees and we'll begin. So we'll start in cat and cow. Hands directly under the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. Take an inhale, settling the heart, looking forward, lift the seat. Exhale, round. Inhale, look forward, settle the heart, lift the seat. Exhale, down dog. Keep the knees bent if you need to. I'm sure that if you're practicing during the holidays, you may be feeling some tightness in the legs as a result of all the sugar festivities and perhaps non-movement. And then maybe you start to reach a heel at a time toward the floor, and your legs are reminded that they can move. And you can be open up a little bit more through the calves, through the Achilles. We'll shift forward into plank pose, so maybe the feet walk back a little bit, come to your plank. And I'm just rolling back and forth over the toes a little bit. Working my low belly. So rather than letting my hips just kind of sink, I want to keep the hips lifted, lift the inner thighs up a little bit toward the ceiling, and then a little bit of the tailbone to draw the low belly up so there's some strength in the core. And then pressing back to down dog with bent knees. So you can start to get some opening in the shoulders. Pressing down through the outer edges of the hands to feel almost a sense of the elbows wrapping toward the floor. And then press down more strongly through the mounds of the index fingers to balance out that energy. And then maybe the legs start to straighten again, trying to keep the upper body unchanged. I'm going to lift the right leg, bend the knee, and open up through the hip. So do your best work to keep your left hip stable. And on your exhale, swing your right foot forward, set it down, and come into your lunge. And just make it a good old lunge. So hands are in line with your ankle. Your front leg, you're looking for about a 90-degree bend. And you know, the inseam of the back leg may be feeling the effects of the practice and the last few days. I was feeling that. I'm going to press back to plank. Now from this plank, we're going to lower down to the floor. Point the toes, take your hands behind you into a clasp for Shalabhasana. Toes down, shoulders roll forward, lift up, reach the hands back. Bring the hands back to the floor, keep the shoulder heads lifted, curl your toes under, press through plank to down dog. And then we'll lift the left leg up behind you. So bend the knee, open up through the hip. Do the work to keep your right hip crease drawn back, right knee pointing forward, stabilizing your standing leg. And then exhale and swing the left foot forward. Set it down, find your lunge. So the heart actually kind of settles down a little bit, and then there's a moving forward of the heart slightly. So as that happens, the tendency may be for the back thigh to collapse a little bit. Try to keep the back thigh nice and lifted. Roll the back heel slightly more forward toward the ball of the foot. So it's more over the ball of the foot. And that'll keep the back leg steadfast as you find length through the spine, squareness through your hips. And press back downward dog this time. I'm going to lift the right leg up again. And once again, bend the knee and open up through the hip. Come up onto the ball of your left foot. Keep the left hip crease drawn back. Now on your exhale, bring your right foot around and forward to a lunge, but set it on the outer edge of your mat. So you're going to bring it out wide. So your hands are inside of your front foot. So finding your lunge here, with the hands inside the leg. Do your best to square your hips here. So you're trying to draw that outer right hip crease back. Keep the back thigh lifted. But just let the weight settle a little bit more fully. Plant your hands, step to plank. Make sure you have enough distance between your feet and your hands. And then lower your way down. All the way to the belly for a little cobra pose this time. Point the toes back, shoulders roll forward, come on up. And lower down. 2 more times. Inhale. And lower down. One last time. Work with your breath when you're up there. If this is uncomfortable, clearly you can always come into a Sphinx pose, elbows under the shoulders, and just work where it feels best for you at this particular moment. So you don't want to ever jam your back or contract it in a way that feels really uncomfortable. Slide your hands alongside of the chest, press to T-ball. And do a little round of cat and cow. Inhale, looking forward. Exhale, rounding the back. Inhale, look forward one more time. And exhale, back downward dog. Now lift the left leg up behind you, bending the knee, opening up through the hip, rolling the right heel forward and up above the ball of the right big toe. Keeping the leg open, hip open on the left side, the right hip crease drawn back, totally stable, tree trunk stable in your standing leg. Now we're going to do the same thing with the left foot. Swing it forward, but set it right to the outer edge of your mat. So your hands remain inside the front foot. Bending into the front knee, trying to find that square 90-degree angle. Settling through the heart. Square the hips. Settle through the heart. Square the hips. Keep the back thigh active and vibrant. And step back, downward dog. Lift the right leg up behind you, hips square this time, so toes point down. And then bring the foot forward, come into a lunge, bring your hands up to the front thigh. Take your left arm up and reach straight up with it. I want to come to prayer twist, cross your body, hook your left elbow outside of the right knee. Hands together. Now you can even take your hand and just press the shoulder back. You can even slide your right arm back behind you, reaching toward the opposite hip crease. And let's release. Hands to the floor, and then maybe the front leg starts to straighten this time, so lift the hips. Press the outer right hip crease back, bow toward the leg. Oh yeah. Lift the back heel, lift the front toes. And then exhale, soften back into this. Forward fold over a straight front leg if it's available to you. Always keep the front knee slightly bent if it's just a little much for your hamstrings. And then bending into the front knee, plant your hands, step to plank. Lower down. Shalabhasana. Try to hold your hands the other way so the other thumb is on top. Reach the hands back. Hands to the floor. Shoulder heads stay lifted. Press up through plank to downward dog. Lift your left leg up behind you, hips are square. Exhale, left foot forward into a lunge. Make sure you have lateral space between your feet. Bring your hands to your front knee. Take your right arm up. So get the torso as vertical as possible, drawing the low belly in and up while trying to keep the back thigh lifted. Then exhale, cross your body with your right elbow, come to your prayer twist. Now again, the right hand can press the left shoulder back. Maybe the left arm reaches back behind you and the hand reaches toward the outer hip on the other side. Release, hands to the floor. Step to down dog. Bending your knees, hop or step to the top of your mat. And take a forward fold. First one in the morning. So be kind with yourself. Your forward fold might have wider feet and bent knees. So as long as your hands can be supported on something, then you're fine. Try to keep the hips and inner thighs moving back and the tailbone gently rooting down. So we're all in a different place in our bodies. We have to find the right balance of action. For you, your hamstrings, the whole ball of wax. Now bend your knees, take your arms forward. Sit. Hug the midline and then just tilt the body up from the hips. So nice and strong, tone in the belly. Come on up, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold. Slide your hands back, step to plank. Move your left hand forward and out and roll to the edge of the left foot. Stack the inner edges of the feet for Vashisthasana. So pressing down into the foot and the hand and trying to lift the underside of the body. And release. Right hand comes down. Move slightly forward and out to the right. Shift your weight to the edge of the right foot. Left arm comes up. Rooting this shoulder head back. So you've got a nice alignment in your shoulder girdle to support your weight. Press down into the feet, lift the hips. Release, hand to the floor. Downward facing dog. Shift forward to plank. Take your vinyasa. Lift your left leg up behind you. Exhale, bring it forward into a lunge. Spin the back heel down. Left elbow to the left knee. Side angle stretch. So hugging your feet toward one another and opening up through the heart. Come on up to warrior two. Back hand to the back thigh. Reverse your warrior. Come on up, straightening the front leg, Trikonasana. So left hand to the floor, right arm reaches up. So try to find a wingspan of your arms. Top arm alongside of the ear. Spin the hands down, bend into the front knee. Lift your back heel, bring your back foot forward, foot and a half or so. To Parsvottanasana. Great time to grab yourself a block or two if the hamstrings are tight. Bowing forward. And then taking your right hand outside of your left foot, take your left thumb into your left hip crease and press it back. So you're telling your body, I'm twisting this way, so let's move the hip so I can get there, right? And then you start to slide the left shoulder back as you turn, hugging your feet toward the midline. And then the left arm goes up, if possible. Now, if this is really, really challenging to get the arm up without your shoulder being way forward and your chest looking more down toward the floor, then please have your hand on your hip. Hands to the floor, bend into the front knee, slide your back foot back, and step to plank. Take a vinyasa. And then we'll do the same sequence on the right leg. So lift your right leg up behind you. Exhale, bring it forward into a lunge. I'll turn myself around so you're at the back of me. Spin the back heel down, side angle stretch, right elbow on the knee. Reach the top arm up. So a nice right angle in the front leg, hugging the back foot toward the front foot, and vice versa. And come up to warrior two. Oh yeah, strong in that front leg. Back hand to the back thigh, turn the front palm up, reverse your warrior. Come on up straight in the front leg, Trikonasana. So right hand comes down, reach up. Triangle pose, so trying to find a sense of length between the right armpit and the right hip as you reach up. Top arm alongside the ear, deepen your side stretch. Make your thigh muscles engage so you can see that. And then release, hands to the floor. Pick up your back heel, slide your back foot forward. Take a shorter stance for Parsvottanasana. Square your hips to the floor. Take your blocks if you need them, and bow forward. So once again, thigh muscles super strong. Inhale, lift, take your left hand outside of the right foot if it'll go there. It can stay inside if you prefer. And clearly you can keep it up on a block. It makes this whole thing much more doable. Take your right thumb into the right hip crease, press it back. And then start to twist to the right. So hug the midline big time with your feet, finding your sense of balance. Mine's a little rickety today. Right shoulder rolls back, right arm goes up. So still pressing that right hip crease back as you take the arm up and even down a little bit so you can get deeper into the IT, into the hip. Exhale and release. Bring the hands down. Slide the left foot back. Slide your hands back. Step to downward dog. Shift forward into plank, lower down to your belly. So, slide your right elbow forward. We're going to do a little thigh stretch. Parallel your thighs, bend your left leg, reach back, take a hold of the foot. Press the foot back against your hand, spread the toes. Press your left knee down and root your tailbone back. And then keep those actions as you bring the foot a little closer to your outer hip. Spreading the toes, release. Switch to the other side, so left arm either directly underneath the shoulder or slightly forward if your back is sensitive to this. Bending the right leg, reach back, take a hold of the foot. Thighs parallel. Press the foot back against the hand, spreading the toes. Press the knee down, root the tailbone back. Bring the foot in. And go ahead and release. All right, so now Dhanurasana bow pose. reach back, take a hold of the feet. You can hold the feet, you can hold the ankles. If you're going to hold the ankles, you're going to flex your feet. So press down into the knees first, and you'll feel your hips lift. And then root your tailbone back and try to bring your hips down, but try to keep your knees down. I know you can't do it all at the same time, but you're going to work those actions all at the same time, even though you may not get it all together. Roll the shoulders forward and then lift. Press your feet back against your hands and lift yourself up to your bow. Release your bow, come on down. Rest your chin on your hands. Slide your hands back, press to table. All right. So we're going to come down onto your back now. Do a little bit of twisting. Take the arms straight out into a T. Set your feet wide and drop your knees over to your left. Inhale to center, drop your knees over to your right. And come on back to center. Walk your feet to hip distance. Eye of the needle, right ankle on top of left knee. Draw your left thigh in and hug the thigh in with your hands. Try to keep the shoulders rooted. Try to keep your sacrum down toward the floor. And if you want a little deeper stretch for the hip, the hands slide to the front of your left shin. And you draw the legs in closer to you from there. You don't ever want to do this if you're feeling discomfort in the knees. So first thing to do would be to spread your toes to stabilize your knees. If it's not helping, release out of it, but keep your feet active while you do that. I'm going to keep my legs like this, but I'm going to set my foot down, take your arms out, drop your legs over to your left, and then let your right thigh move away from you as you get a little deeper into the hip flexors. And then come on back to center, uncross, go the other way, left ankle on top of right knee, draw the right thigh in. If you want a deeper stretch, hands go to the front of the right shin, drawing the legs in toward the chest, but attempting to root the sitting bones closer to the floor, attempting to keep the shoulder heads down. It's a lot to do on hips that have been partaking of holiday activities like sitting, watching movies, eating, you know. All right, and then we're going to release that. Set the foot down. Keep the legs crossed. Drop your legs over to your right. And then just let your left leg move away from your body. So keep your left foot really active as you do this, as you get a little deeper into the hip flexors. And come on back to center. Uncross. And then we're going to do knee over knee. So cross your right knee tightly over your left. Keep your foot on the floor, but lift your hips and move them to the right. And then drop your knees over to the left. Try to keep your right shoulder down. Turn your head to look to your right. Oh, yeah. And come back to center. Uncross the legs. Reroot the hips to square. Cross left knee over right. Pick up the hips, scoot them left, drop the knees to the right. Try to keep your left shoulder down. I use my opposite hand to help my knees and my thighs root in the opposite direction, just to give them a little guidance, and then turn to look to your left. And come on back to center. Oh yeah, so uncross, lengthen the legs out, turn the palms up, and have a nice rest in Shavasana. So thanks so much for joining me today, and hope to see you on your mat sometime soon. Namaste.